Welcome, everybody. It's day 3 in our preseason racing. As you can see, it is quite moist here in Brazil. One shot qualifying, we're on board with a newer driver who signed up, I think, just a day or two ago, Randro, who's just retired. So we'll be starting for the back of the grid. 13 drivers have signed up so far. Back-to-back tracks tonight, everybody. So we've got short qualifying. One time. Let me restart that.
One
One
shot
shot
qualifying.
qualifying. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Followed by 35% races both in Brazil and in Japan. Here with me for the first race, as we're viewing Cody Lawrence currently in first position, most probably will be clinching the pole here. Quentin K, as we know him. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you, Ranger. And I'm proud to say that Cody Lawrence on the Red Bull will be taking pole for Brazil. Obviously, he's not racing this season, but it's always good to see the Red Bull colors up there, obviously, because I'm the new Red Bull TP. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Draft is going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. and that's going to be 8 or 9. I kind of forgot about that, but
I believe it's 8
yeah,
p.m.
it should be 8
Eastern.
p.m. Indeed. So Red Bull driver there, Cody Lawrence, almost half a tenth up on Josh Mulder, former Division One driver who should be in Division Two for next season. That is going to be starting next week, Saturday with Division Two. Quentin, of quite officially, we're having 3 divisions. We're back at 3 divisions starting next week. So that was confirmed today. We have enough signups to do so. You're being TP at Rebel, so you're gonna have to keep an eye on that. And one of the reasons why you're on board with me in the broadcast is doing a little bit of scouting. There's a couple new drivers on our driver list. Only 13 people showed up, and that's all right. We're aware that it's not everybody was available for these races, but it's a good opportunity to showcase your talent and show us what you got. Um, Looks like it's gonna be nice and dry for the entirety of the race, from what I'm seeing. So we'll have these drivers will have the opportunity to show us what they got. And I mean, it's not necessarily about winning or being the fastest. It's basically making sure can you drive clean? How many times do you crash or do you not crash? Do you have the proper racecraft who goes wheel to wheel with some of the drivers out there? Those are the kind of things that the team principal would want to look at. Am I close to the goal there, Quentin?
Yeah, these races, they're all good for like the TPs to get a good look at all the drivers and like up for the draft tomorrow. Like looking for consistency, like not crashing, as you say. Oh, as the lights are about to go out here for Brazil.
Absolutely. We're going to be away and going right now. And looks like there's several drivers who opted for the soft tires. Actually, only one driver. It's Cody Lawrence. He wants none of it. He's going to go on the soft tires, probably go on the long run. And already multiple drivers in the back. Not a great start there for Nathan, who's dropped several positions. Let's take a look on that. We'll go back to what you were saying earlier. And just already, it's Randro again. I don't know if he's having hardware difficulties there, but it looks like he's he's AI'd, so that is very slow. Well, that's not even AI'd, is it?
Who's an AI?
Randro in the Williams.
Yeah, he does look like he's in AI there. Maybe he got kicked out or something. Yeah, we're already
I'm
seeing.
thinking he's driving the line, he's following the line, he's on first gear, he's probably looking for a shifter. So that is a hard way to find out that we are racing manual and not automatic transmission.
Yeah, that's.
That might be what's
Yeah.
going on there. Because if he was paused, his AI would have at least been shifting.
Yeah, that's probably pretty frustrating if he's stuck on automatic gears there. He's trying to get around.
Yeah.
But obviously, we have Cody Lawrence trying to stretch out his lead out front with the soft tires, so he's going to want to break that DRS as fast as possible. He's already at 9/10 to Wild Pores in second.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Valtro's being able to hang on to that. He's actually doing a pretty good job there, not being completely flushed up by Cody Lawrence. We'll see on the main straight. That's where that's where the main moment of the game is going to be played. Really, DRS will be activated next lap, and oh, he's just braking. He's just on the edge there, so we'll see. You'll have the opportunity after the Senna S's turns 1, 2, 3. And we'll see if he'll be able to catch back into the DRS. I think he'll have a little bit of switching here on Cody.
Yeah, and you can see that they also have like the same amount of battery, so that seems like Wild Pours is kind of keeping with him with Cody with the same battery level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And already Cody's at 1.3 seconds, so he has broken the DRS. However, Jaquan, a newer driver that we discovered last season, first race in China, having a podium, and is now caught up to Mulder in P2, currently in the McLaren. And obviously, all these drivers just took any car they wanted, really. There's no teams have been selected yet. That will be tomorrow during our draft. Major Castleman also in that group, where we're seeing already images of a potential D1. Mulder's doing really good out there, and if he's a driver who wants to show up as a potential champion contender for Division 2, that's probably one of his goals, because he's slaughtered for Division 2 at the moment we're speaking. That may change, but I do believe he's going to be picked for Division 2. However, the drivers behind him, so we've got Jaquan, Marcel Paps, Major Castleman, all three of those drivers are predicted to be in Division 1. And Jaquan's going to do the overtake there into the first corner. Outbreaks.
Eruption going around the outside of Major Castleman.
And I think there's a bit of a contact. Yeah, look at that. Paps was Major Castleman was doing a lot of weaving there, probably to send a little bit of a message. I don't know to who. But
yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah. That's 5 positions lost in a very little amount of time. Wild Pros losing it out to Logan and Simon Carlson. Simon also predicted to be in Division 1.
Oh, yeah, Simon's in Division 1?
Simon should be in Division 1, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
second driver of Mercedes, technically.
Team principal of Mercedes.
Team principal, exactly. He'll be the second pick in Division 1 for Mercedes. I think he finished 3rd, maybe even 2nd last season in the division championship that was won by Stelios.
Yeah, we're gonna see Marcel all the way on the back of Jaquan right here. He's probably gonna want to get it past him as soon as possible, chasing after. Doesn't even have to use his battery. Easy move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, battery harvest is not that high here in Brazil, right?
I'm not too sure, honestly, because I've never really raced this track. So it looks like all the drivers are around the same amount of battery, around 50%, 30%. So it doesn't look like they're saving a ton of battery, but it's still reasonable. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware it's somewhat low, and you want to be careful not to use it too much, but most definitely. And I mean, now Paps is gonna be looking to maybe break the toe on Jaquan, but Jaquan's gonna have the DRS on him. So it's just about 7/10 when he crossed the DRS line. Comes just up behind him from the Q1 here, corner 1, and it's almost went down to 3/10. So you could easily catch 4 5/10s just on the DRS alone from the main straight DRS here in Brazil. So a lot of overtakes are made that way.
And now we're starting to get into the phase where the soft tires of Cody Lawrence will probably be starting to drop off. So we could probably see that 2.2 second gap there start to drop from Marcel and Cody.
There's an absolutely awesome battle going on here between Josh Mulder and Simon Carlson. They were going wheel to wheel all over the place. And somebody's run into the back of a... Well, yeah, they ran into the back of Major Castleman. I don't know what happened there, if he's got damage, but a little bit of wheel spin there for Mulder. Yeah, Major Castleman, I think, had a bit of a moment there, because suddenly he's not even close to being behind Jaquan. He's now battling
Yeah.
to save his spot. He's going to be under pressure by both Wild Pros and Simon Koss, and Logan is not too far behind.
Yeah, 3 second gap there, so certainly something must have happened there. He must have had a major moment or something, because yeah, 3 seconds, that's a pretty big delta.
Oh my goodness, well, Simon almost lost it. Absolute monstrous save from his part. Loses the position to Logan. He's going to try to maybe go for it again. Decides to play the patient game there. Yeah, drivers are pushing it all. I mean, it's 25 laps. It's a 35% race here in Brazil, but you know, this grid is pretty close, despite only being well, now 11 drivers. 2 drivers already retired so far.
Is Jake Kwan a Division 1 driver?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Jordan Kwan is going to be. I mean, we've had a lot of mock drafts going around, and I think he could be potentially a top 5 pick, but I think he might go P7. He will be picked 7th, I think. Just because I think some team principals know him a little less. He's
Right.
raced, I think, 3 races, and obviously the broadcaster's curse, right, Quinton? Well, this is your
Yes,
first
the
broadcast with
broadcaster's
me.
curse.
Yeah, you've heard about that one. Everybody's heard about
Yes.
the broadcaster's curse. We're talking about
Yep.
Jaquan, and what does he do? He just spins it in turn 1 and acts like a goof. And there you go. Now he's battling to defend from Logan and Simon. And Simon's going to go out to the inside. And he's got the overtake done on Logan.
Yeah, and we're already seeing Eruption all the way on the back of Cody Lawrence. He's already closed up 1.5 seconds in about
goodness.
2 laps. He's in DRS territory now. And those soft tires look like they're really dropping off for Cody now. So could potentially see a move here on the back straight.
Yeah, and I think Cody's not officially signed up for a season. He might reserve here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And he's gonna go to. Oh no, I thought he was gonna go into the pits, but no, he's not going in there. He's gonna keep on going. That's allowing Marcel Paps or Eruption for some people to have a go at him in the DRS here. Is it gonna be for the overtake, or is he gonna be patient with the move? He's not on the battery so far. He's really being patient about it. He knows he's got the pace compared to Cody, who's the only driver who picked out the soft tires to begin the race.
Yeah, I believe the pit lap for the soft tire might be lap 10, maybe 11. So probably see him pit here in a lap or 2.
Yeah, it would definitely make sense. He's put himself in a position where he may lose the lead to the race on the next straight. Now, the real question is, what are the medium drivers going to do for pit strategy there, for the tire strategy? Are they going to, because their pit, I would assume their pit would be closer to lap 15.
Yeah,
So
around
that may
15.
that may allow for strategy. For
Cody stays out again. Stays out another lap.
Yep. And Eruption is just being patient about it. And if you're in a position where you're gonna set up a move, you're gonna make it right here. There's no point in losing that DRS on this straight. But he's not even using his battery, so he's really just following through with the rhythm here. Marcel's doing his own race, and that's it.
He might be playing the patient game. He probably will be just trying to save up some battery, maybe.
He's gonna try to do that, maybe save some fuel as well if it's needed. There's close battling in the back, and now we're seeing Nathan Doan, who's gained several positions in the past couple laps here. Gone up to P6, just made the overtake happen on Mac and Logan. Logan's race suddenly is going backwards. He's now P8. A moment ago, he was P5, P6, battling with Simon Costin. Now Simon's trying to catch up with Jaquan and 2 drivers who are going to be in Division 1. Well, this is a rivalry that might be brewing here already before the season even begins. Simon He's gonna be into the DRS, and we're keeping an eye on Marcel Paps. Is he gonna be going in it? No, he's not. He's not making a move that
No,
happened on Cody Lawrence, at least not yet.
surely he has to go for a move right here. With being 2 tenths behind, he surely should go
It
for a move.
should be made pretty easily. I don't think Cody's going to fight it.
It's not on the
But no,
battery.
he's
Oh,
lifting.
he's lifting.
Absolutely
Wow.
lifting. Let me tell you, I don't think Simon's going to be wanting to lift on Jaquan. He's going to go on the outside move and going for a switch back here. Is that going to work? No. Jaquan's covered that off cleanly. And Simon's, again, maybe... This is difficult with Brazil. You don't have a lot of opportunities for overtaking if it's not on the main straight. It's on the back straight in the 2 DRS zones. And I think Simon's just setting himself up. And we have a driver around. I think that's Mr. Huerta.
Major customer.
Yeah, Major's got stopped as well.
He just stopped pressing on the gas pedal. He was just sat there right in the middle of the track.
Yeah, I'm wondering if was there contact? Was there an incident? Was he letting Big Mama Frank get back on track, maybe? Well, either way, we're having quite a battle here. Side to side, they were going, Simon and Jaquan. Simon got himself a 3-second time penalty, exceeding track limits. Lap 12 here in Brazil. He is going for the overtake on the inside of the McLaren. He goes and just misses out a little bit on the overtake there. Again, and a good defense by Jaquan. I think Simon could have used a little bit more battery for the overtake. Decided to make it happen only on DRS. So that's really interesting. We got Pass being very patient on the overtake on Cody. Same thing is happening with Simon on Jaquan. He's made 2 attempts so far, but it's not happening yet. In the middle of the pack, we got a 3-way battle happening. Nathan Doan, Mac, and Logan. Nathan Doan asked me to crack open a cold one for him. I will do so just before Japan. I'm gonna need it then. And we're, by the way, Quentin, we're starting lap 13. Cody has not pitted.
Yeah, I know. I'm still kind of shocked that Eruption still hasn't taken advantage of like his tire advantage. Like I'm not really sure why he hasn't passed yet. He surely, if he passed probably 2 or 3 laps ago, he probably could be clear of 2 seconds right now. But I'm not really too sure what he's doing. Maybe he's harvesting his battery. I can see he's already at 90%. So maybe he's trying to go past and instantly break that DRS. But not too sure what his plan is.
I'm thinking Paps doesn't want to make any favors for Cody. If he gets past Cody, Cody gets DRS off of him. And maybe he's able to stay within that 1 second of DRS for maybe a lap or 2, maybe 3. And Paps just doesn't want to carry him forward at all, given the fact that, well, I'm pretty sure the second... Either that or the second the Paps gets in front of him, he's going to go into the pits as well.
Yeah, Eruption now on the battery. He's probably going for a move here.
There it is.
And Cody's going into the box.
There we go. So that's a slingshot move, using all of his battery, getting the top speed as much as he can. And there's a driver in the back. Oh, that's Mac. Mac who's had an incident. I don't know if there's any damage. And another incident with Big Mama Frank and Major Castleman. Logan PSQ has left the session. He's in the middle of the race. He's actually the only person smack in the middle of the race. I think he lost connection.
Mac with a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, Mac
Being in the pit lane. Yeah,
That's...
talking about penalties, we can actually see like quite a few drivers have some track limit penalties. That's
yeah, Brazil is just one of those tracks for that. Major Castleman's gonna go in with the soft tires. He's still in on his race despite I think he made contact with Big Mama Frank earlier. Nonetheless, 10 laps to go here in Brazil. We started with 13, we're down to 10, and it's Pap's turn to go in for the change of tires. I'm going to assume he's going for soft tires.
yes, the soft tires.
Yeah. There's no point in going for the.
Oh, he's. Oh,
Oh,
maybe that was just a bug on my stream.
yeah, definitely a visual bug there. Sometimes that happens, and Marcel Pabst. Oh yeah, Marcel Pabst. The camera is very much focused on where he is, very much in the pit box.
That yeah, yeah. I was saying it.
There you
I was
go.
stuck on the Mercedes pit crew. I was kind of confused there.
Yeah, the cameraman didn't want to change the cameras. Um, however, this may be the better result for Pabst. He's on the soft tires right behind Cody Lawrence. This time I think he's got to be a little bit less patient. I don't think he will, but if we copy paste what happened with Cody, I'm thinking,
I
yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering about what the strategy is going to be for Pabst. Is he going to go for it and try to break the toe on Cody as quick as possible, or is he going to just wait till lap 24 and maybe do his overtake then?
Yeah, I still feel like Eruption should have passed Cody during his medium stint because if Eruption, because now he's flying by him now for the lead of the race.
Yep.
Cody could probably come back at the end of the race with his medium tires because those soft tires are going to drop off really really fast, probably 4 or 5 laps I'd say, and then Cody will be all over the back of him.
Will Cody do the same thing again? He looks into it, but
No.
he's not going at it. Big Mama Frank having major issues in the back with in the corners.
Yeah.
Now the pit strategies have been made, and we're having a little bit of a spread now. Jake Wan is in P4 still, 3 positions gained overall for Simon Costin, who started P8 in P5. Nathan Doan also gaining positions. Rigraff really taking advantage of the DNFs there, and he's sitting 7th. The main battle is between positions 1 and 2. Jake Wan and Simon have similar pace. I think a little bit of an advantage goes to Jake Wan. But so far, everybody else is pretty much spread out.
Yeah, everybody's quite spread out for now. Oh, and Cody and Marcel only 2 tenths. Yeah, it seems like Cody's holding on pretty well to Marcel there.
The weirdest thing for me is seeing Eruption in a Mercedes. We all clearly know he's team principal for Ferrari.
A Ferrari, yes.
he's in those Mercedes colors. I keep thinking that's Cody, because Cody last time he raced with us. He was in the Mercedes. Little bit of a confusing moment to comment on. But yeah, and look at that. Paps is. It's funny because in sector 2, look at this. It's almost 7 tenths difference between Paps and Cody already. So
Yeah, really short lap year around Brazil, so there's not really like a huge amount of time for him to break the DRS. You can see that Cody has 50% and Marcel is just about 20%. So he's been really trying to push and break that DRS of Cody, but it's just not fast enough.
yeah, and Cody's able to be patient about it. And I think he's able to be patient to the point where even if he drops out of the DRS a little bit, eventually throughout the race you get back into it, because those soft tires are already problematic.
Yeah.
They're not racing cars per se. That's what kind of makes it complicated, I think, for 35% races, is where you're kind of forced to go medium to soft. The hard tires are not the best tires for this situation, this kind of racing. And you have to use the soft tires and even make them go, past the 40% mark. And we all know that past the 15 or 25% mark, they're absolutely not good. I'll say this.
Yeah, especially with the soft tire. Once they reach that first drop-off point around 22%, you're losing about 1.5 seconds every lap. So it's very, very big drop-off in the soft tires.
Yeah, we're watching Cody on board right now, constantly trying to maybe force Marcel into a bit of a mistake there. going on the inside and not really officially going for the overtake. Again, I'm doing a little bit of lift. Yeah, I think that's going to be this for the rest of the race or most of it.
Yeah, and Cody doesn't even have to force a move because Marcel has a time penalty anyways.
Yep, absolutely. All right, however, in the back, let's go check out what's going on elsewhere. Obviously, you're seeing Aston Martin hanging back, trying to keep up with the quick boys, but Big Mama Frank, I think, with a couple incidents, allowed himself to drop back and just try to race those guys. However, the gap between Jaquan and Simon has dropped down to below 1 second. So Simon's in a position where he might be able to do what Cody's gonna try doing to Marcel, basically. And has he actually gone for the move there? Yeah, Cody Lawrence in P1 now. He's outbraked his rival into turn 1. Will Marcel go for the overtake again? No, he's waiting for Cody. Nice little chicken between the two. Something we won't be seeing in Japan, I don't think. At least I hope not. A lot of... That's the thing with... I think the added slipstream effect in F123, Quinton, is... We see a lot of this. A lot of just, I'll stay behind, hang on to the DRS, and recharge my battery. I'll do that for 49% of the race, or 99% of the race, I'll say. And then the last lap, you just go for a slingshot, overtake, and DRS, and that's it.
Yeah, because you can already see that even just through the middle sector, Marcel regained 20% of his battery being behind Cody, which is just... That's just insane. That's an insane amount of battery regeneration. 20%.
That is.
Yeah, and if I was just Marcel, I'd just be charging up my battery, just waiting up for the final lap, and...
Well, that's what it is, and Cody could have done the same thing, you know, so... I guess that hasn't been made, and Simon will catching up to Jake Quad. Yeah, so not going for the move yet, but I mean he's definitely in a position where he can make the move happen.
Yeah, he might be waiting for the final lap as well, recharging his battery. Yeah, because you can see Simon only has 29% of his battery recharged
currently, and we're gonna go through these slow corners here.
Yeah, just look at his battery. Just go up. He just gained about 6% just through that slow left-hander.
Yeah, essentially went from 29 to 40% in a matter of... Well, it's technically a good number of corners, but they come so quickly, and you're trail braking quite a lot, or, you know, not even braking and just letting the limited slip kind of just do its thing, and that generates battery for you, so... Much easier to do so, especially with the lack of, well, I'll say the lack of downforce with the added effect of slipstream being behind the McLaren driver. See if he's going to go for a move now. He's just about 6/10 behind.
Yeah, and eruption's still all over the back of Cody there. Only 2/10 separate them through the middle sector.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to make a little bit of an audio being told... Oh, that's why. There you go. Maybe been late. Just saw the YouTube chat. I wasn't very loud, and then you were much louder. Is Paps going for an overtake here? Well, there you go. That's P1. Back into P1 for...
The other guy is really loud.
The other guy is really loud. Yeah, you're the other guy, bro.
I'm the other guy.
You're the other guy. Cody... Oh, well...
Cody almost faking a move there.
Yeah, for a second, from the camera angle we had, it almost looked like they would touch.
Yeah.
But no, they did not touch. There was no touching there. So Cody is doing a lot of faking and trying to make Marcel make some mistakes. And what's really interesting from my point of view, and I know Marcel himself is a team principal, but if he was an available driver battling with Cody Lawrence, a next champion here in Division 1 in 0L, my goodness, he's putting up a really good fight. So
Cody's not. Oh yeah, he's not racing this season. Just reserve.
He's not racing, and he hasn't. He's not officially reserve either.
Oh, Cody's going for a move up in turn 1.
There it is.
They're going side by side.
That's what we want to see, boys. We want to see racing in action and actually battling for position. Thank you for giving us that. 24 laps into this race.
Come back at Cody here.
There it is. Wheel to wheel, Cody Lawrence. He's not gonna wait for the DRS at the very end. He wants to win it here, and he's got a beautiful move, clean move done on Marcel Pabst. Will Marcel be able to make it happen? We're gonna see a drag race moment between them two. We got to keep an eye on Simon and Jaquan. Simon, who's just caught past the McLaren driver, by the way. That's gonna be an exciting one.
Yeah, and we see here before the last straight, Cody does have the battery advantage over Marcel, so that might play into a factor as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, last corner here in Brazil.
Marcel on the battery.
He's gonna harvest a little bit because we're lap 24 here, so we got 1 lap to go, and this is gonna be it.
One more. Cody is now flashing.
He's absolutely dumping. Simon and Jaquan are battling wheel to wheel down into the first 3 corners into the center S's. Who's going to have the DRS? It's going to be Simon, and Jaquan's dumping himself as well. Side by side, they're going into turn 4. Simon's had to go wide.
Oh, Cody's fuel light is on. He might run out of fuel before the line.
Nah, come on. Why not?
Potentially.
Why not? Of course.
But I have seen the win right here on the final corner here. Yeah. Marcel on the battery.
Also him with the fuel light on.
Yeah, Cody's already flashing. Marcel might get him to the line.
Look at this over the top view. Is it going to happen? Gosh. Yeah, he has it. He's got the win.
He's got him at the line. No. Wow.
No, does he not?
Yes, he did get him at the line because the gap is under 3 seconds. He was ahead by 27 milliseconds.
I forgot about his penalty. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, he did get him. Yeah, I clearly, I forgot about the penalty. That's what happened. And Simon lost it. I don't know when, but suddenly Nathan Doan just came out of nowhere, stole P5 from Simon.
I believe Simon had a 3-second penalty, did he?
Oh, not? Did he as well? You know what? I'm not even paying attention to the penalties. That is, well, I'm not paying attention to much, I think, honestly, but. Well, there it is. That's one race.
Yeah. Now I'll be jumping in for the next race, Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have we'll trade you for Big Mama Frank, and you'll go in there down there on the grid for Japan. Hopefully, other drivers join as well, so we have a fuller grid, maybe a little bit more action. And yeah, well, thanks for joining us. It's fun having you around, Quentin.
Yeah, maybe I'll get back in the booth at another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Get out our first comments here on the Discord channel, guys. Already. Yeah, Cody and Marcel. That's what I thought. Cody was trying to force a wheel-to-wheel battle. Have a little bit more fun on that. All right, so we're gonna pause the stream for a moment here. We're gonna go into a little bit of intermission. We gotta set up the lobby again. Or do the lobby setup of Japan in the next few minutes. So we'll be right back with everyone. back here in Japan. One-shot qualifying. And this time not with Quentin, but I got Big Mama Frank with me. What's up, Frank?
What's up?
How was your race in Brazil?
I always suck at that track. I always need a lot of practice, and without any practice, I always just struggle under the brakes. So it didn't go very well.
Yeah, kind of track where you're right under the brake with no ABS. Once their tires get worn up, it is very possible to lock them up and have some issues here. We're currently on board with Major Castman begging not to be in Division 1. And Quentin K, who is claiming his... There you go. And Quentin K is claiming Japan to be his quickest track. So far, Marcel Paps has got a little bit quicker than him. Cody Lawrence is going to start from the back with gearbox problems. Mac currently sitting 4th. Mulder retired, so he's not... Wild Pros is not going to complete his lap. Mac currently sitting 3rd on this one-shot quali, quicker than Jake Wan. It's really interesting to see. And Garrett Elder into Haas's P8. Frank, I don't know if he's even touched a game and for a while now, but he's positioning himself to be potentially... Look at him going. He was about P4 for a second. He might get 5th instead. That's going to be 5th for Garrett Elder.
He did race with us at Abu Dhabi earlier this week.
Oh, yeah.
So we did have a little bit of a warm-up.
Well, I haven't seen him racing with us in a little bit of a while, I'll say, and he's well, he hasn't lost it. Great time for him for 127.9, and Quentin K disqualified. So yeah, that's for boasting for being the quickest in Japan. You start B14. That's pretty much what it is. We've got 3 disqualifying: Rick Raff, Simon Clausen, Quentin K, Mulder, Castleman, and Cody Lawrence. Looks like they just retired. I guess they weren't happy with their times.
They must have been. It looks like with the DSQ usually, you know, they invalidate. I know Cody said he had gearbox failure.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I gotta remember to do something. Nathan, don't ask me to do something, and I kind of need it right now, Frank. I gotta crack open a cold one for my boy Nathan. There you go. He asked me so nicely, so, you know. I'm gonna do it. It is done. %35 race. Weather looks clear. There was a potential of rain towards the end of the race earlier during qualifying, but looks like with the update, updated info before the race starts, it's going to be sunny all through this race. We've got 14 drivers on track, a little bit more than during the first race. The red lights are up. And away they go. Back in racing here in Japan. There's Williams straight on the grass doing I don't know what. I'm going to call that a little bit of sandbagging from Major Castleman. You can call it what it is. Mac and Logan side by side. Clean start there. Nathan Doan gaining a position is now P4. Overtook Mr. Richard Long, Garrett Elder, in P6. And Wild Pros having quite the start. And already gained 4 positions starting P11. He's now in P7. And Quentin K, well, he's going to try to make his way up the grid. As will the other Red Bull driver of Cody Lawrence. Cody's on the inside of Simon Colston, overtakes there, and Rigraff's having a bit of a slow moment, as is Major Castleman. Well, Major is doing major stuff, I guess.
Most people on the softs is a little bit of a surprise, but I have been noticing in these 35% this week that it just seems that just getting ahead at the first part of the race is more important than the end, particularly when you have so much of a pace gap between the entire field.
Yeah. Yeah, I was having a discussion with Quentin in Brazil about that. We were surprised to see so many people on the mediums to begin with, but I think honestly, for 35% races here, we got 19 laps in Japan. The tire wear is, I'm a bit surprised the tire wear I think here is a little bit higher than in Brazil. And most drivers run on softs, but you're right in what you're saying, where you won't ever see hard tires on the 35% race unless, you know, there's an incident early on. Well, look at that, Major Castleman, you know, as I said, he goes on the hards. So he's going to try to go long for the rest of the race, try to take advantage, but you'll never beat anybody on raw pace with the hard tires, generally speaking, in this kind of situation. So we're really just running the softs, running the mediums, and a lot of people are opting for the softs in Japan, I think. They saw what Cody could do in Brazil. Keep an eye on how that's going to go there. It's a lot of battling in the middle of the pack, by the way, too. Go ahead, Frank.
I was going to say, the benefit of these 35% races, they still use the 50% race tire wear. So generally, the soft and the medium you can kind of take them longer as a percentage of the race than you would in a 50%. So that kind of means you can technically kind of do a weird strat where you go longer on the softs than you would on the mediums, depending on just what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's a very Cody kind of strategy, what I'm seeing. And I don't know what happened there with Logan. He was up there battling for P5, suddenly finds himself P9. He's one of the drivers on the medium tires. But, you know, both Red Bulls, Quentin K and Cody Lawrence, P7, P8, they were starting way back in the grid and claiming positions. Their next target is going to be Garrett in P6 now. Oh, what's happened with Quentin? Okay. I don't know if you caught that, but Quentin just did a perfect pirouette right on the beaches of this track.
It looks like he just took what are those corners called? The Desna. He just looked like he took too much of those corners and just lost. I don't even know I can't remember what they're called.
The Degner corners, yeah.
Degner corners, right?
Well, he took one and he looked like he was going relatively in a straight line, and then out of nowhere, it just kind of his rear stepped out for some reason, and I don't know if that was under braking. I have a bit of a suspicion that maybe he forgot a little setting on his brake bias, and that may have been why he spun at a very odd place. But yeah, that's the end result there. Quentin K is now 12, and Cody Lawrence, well, he's made the overtake happen on Gerolder there, and is now in P6. You know, one guy who's impressing me so far tonight, and I know they're quote unquote just only 35% races, but Eruption, Marcel Paps has been an absolute bomb tonight.
Yeah, the dude is always fast. There's no doubt about his pace. It's just always sometimes sneaky connection, or just sometimes he just takes a couple of spins a race and then kind of ruins whatever pace that he's showing.
Yeah, we've seen it regularly in Division 1. He could easily put himself up top 5, but then suddenly he's, you know, as you say, gets a little bit of a bump or a bit of a spin, and then he's battling for the 10th position, and that's not necessarily his regular pace here. And he might be one of those surprise drivers to be battling for the championship this season. You know, we have the opportunity tomorrow, Frank. We're doing the draft to together for for season 10. Marcel Paps could be one of those picks potentially for a championship. There's a couple drivers that are not back from last season that may open the door for a new championship, and Paps could be one of those guys.
Yeah, but even though we're missing, like Hudson, who the only 4-time champion in CRL, we have added a couple of pretty quick guys. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan is really dominant again, but he probably will have a little bit more of a challenge, particularly with the calendar we have this season, which you guys will see tomorrow.
Yes, I cannot wait to reveal the calendar with the races of a certain number of certain areas to everybody tomorrow. Well, our back to focus on the race here. Another driver who's maybe surprising me and who's definitely showing great pace, Nathan Doan. And I'll tell you what, very regularly, me and Nathan Doan, we did quite a lot of broadcasts together. Whenever I go into time trials, I try to be a little bit quicker than Nathan. I see he's always improving, and he's improved to the point where I think he's quicker than me. So I see just time trial times. I'm like, man, I gotta go beat that, and I have a lot of fun doing it. But man, is he really coming into his own? Like, he's very constantly improving his game, and I think he's been showing it. I mean, he kind of stole P5 in Brazil just last race, and now he's currently sitting third, holding up a very good pace. Garrett Elder has a moment off track, jumps down to P11. Looks like his tires gave away in corner 2. So yeah, I mean, I think Nathan Dunn could be a very solid pick. I'm not sure if he's gonna break the top 10 picks in Division 1. Oh, Matt completely loses it, goes across the track. Luckily, those ghosting, otherwise Cody Lawrence would have absolutely smashed into that Alfa Romeo. Anyways,
the battle for top 10 in terms of the draft for D1 is quite challenging, particularly with how many team principals we have that are just in the top 10 in terms of rating. So I think we only have 6 picks in the top 5. So it's going to be. I would be surprised if Nathan was that high, because he is towards kind of the bottom-ish of the D1 ratings wise. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it could just be somebody just values him as a teammate or things like that. Could cause a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and I think I know he was battling for the bottom positions last season. I wouldn't be surprised to see him battling for maybe up to the the top, not the top 10, but between P10 to P13. I'd see him battling for those kind of positions if he could, because he's been improving, and I think he'll be able to improve his performance just enough to be able to get those kind of positions. And I mean, a driver fighting for the upper portions of the bottom half, basically, so anywhere between P10 to P5, is usually a very valuable secondary teammate.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we kind of see, outside of just kind of the anomaly that was Mercedes last season, people who were just consistently scoring solid points were more valuable than people that would do well but constantly have issues and get in incidents or spin or whatever and fall quite far back.
Yeah.
Because like Alpine finished P3 in combined constructor standings, and their D1 was they didn't even have a D1 driver for about half the season. So even though Duncan and Fred weren't the best drivers, they had so much consistency between their D2 drivers that it made up for everything else.
Yeah, essentially that's what was happening. We have our first retirement, Mac, in the Alfa Romeo, who was the last one to have that spin. Was battling for potentially top 5 there, and finds himself not finishing his race. Cody Lawrence has battled all the way back to P4, and he's doing so on the soft tires. We're starting to see a couple drivers going for their pit strategies. And then, yeah, I think Major Castman's is lapped maybe even twice now. Or is that, no, that's,
He hasn't been lapped quite
Tucker.
yet. Eruption's on the way, just a couple of corners behind him.
Yeah, I thought he would have been lapped by now. Every time I look at the track map, I see Williams that's stopped. And again, look at that eruption, just basically running away with it. You'd think by lap 7, his soft tires would have enough degradation that Jaquan and Nathan Doan could really start catching up to him, and that's not the case so far. We're just almost halfway through this race already, and the soft tires, at least for him, have not dropped off. Logan PSQ is, I think I have Logan added. Let me see if I could invite him real quick.
I'll get him back.
Yeah, okay. Good call. So yeah, I think he's disconnected, sadly. He was having a decent race. Yeah, starting lap 9, and it's Pabst leading. Jaquan and P2 3.8 seconds behind. Nathan Doan had caught up to Jaquan about 1.8 seconds. Suddenly it's dropped down to 3.6 and finds himself with Cody behind him. I think Nathan had a little bit of a mistake there, potentially.
Yeah, going through the final couple corners, that final corner, he just had a little issue with traction.
Yeah.
And kind of half lost the car. Rigrath, the first one to pit. Avira following him.
Yeah. Simon Carlson also having a moment there off of turn 2.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Garrett actually pit before them. Or is he pitting?
Yeah, Garrett pit before the lap before, a lap earlier. Also, C. Tucker in the Ferrari also pitting at the same time, or just before. We also have Wild Pros and P8. He's on his new soft tires. There's a Haas in the back that's having a moment, but right now we're keeping an eye on Cody Lawrence. He's preparing his move for the overtake on Nathan. He's also going to get past Eruption, who's in the pit lane currently. Russell Pabst going in for the mediums. There's the overtake. Nathan's doesn't really have much defense he could do there. All you can do is try to keep up with Cody as much as possible. You know, there's a completely different subject, Frank, but one thing I've always wondered is why there was no DRS portion from Spoon up to 130R. I would have figured that'd be a straight enough line to incorporate DRS there.
I think it's a safety thing, since on the other side of 130R is just gravel and then a wall. I think also parts of this track kind of intersect. I mean, we've seen some wild crashes where people crash on one part of the track and end up on another part.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably just a safety issue. Generally, this track isn't too bad to race behind people, so it may not necessarily be needed, but from what I understand, it's simply just a safety thing.
Yep, makes sense. Because was it last year, maybe 2 years ago? And I forget which series it was, but we did see somebody crash out of 130R, and I think it was due to a brake failure or something like that. And crashing out basically fell off the bridge because Suzuka is the only figure 8 track on the F1 calendar. So let me see if I could find here, let's go on board with Quentin and K just here if people aren't aware of it. Right here in this area, once you crash, well, I mean, you're going above the bridge that you will see on Major Castleman's view. So I'm going to go on board with him. Right after the Degner corners, turns 8 and 9. So 130R is going to be just above his head here. So as you mentioned, it is indeed a potential security reason why we haven't implemented DRS during that moment.
Oh, believe me, dude. If we could do it, we would definitely. We would probably add like 2 DRS zones just to
Yeah.
the track. Safety. Who needs safety in a game?
Oh yeah, I will absolutely, absolutely. That'd be. I'm sure there's a mod somewhere out there that allows you to do something like that, but yeah, definitely not viable for the multiplayer platform. By the way, Quentin K with a 5-second penalty, so you know he boasted it. He went out there. He says, you know, and he's very quick in the Japan time trials, which are bound to be reset thanks to people supposedly cutting the chicane to gain the fastest time out there.
Yeah, Ryan, defending D1 champion, currently top on the leaderboard because he just cut the final chicane. So he just went straight. So I don't know how that works, but
Yeah. Neither do I, honestly, but yeah, so anyways, Quentin was saying this was one of his better tracks, his better races, and well, clearly he could have used Brazil as a practice because, well, he's currently sitting P10.
Quentin does have a little bit of reputation as being kind of a time trial merchant. I mean, over the last couple of seasons, he's kind of proved that he's not just a time trial merchant by having some really dominant race wins.
Yeah.
But he still has had races that don't quite, free him of that reputation yet. So I'm excited now that he's a team principal. I'm sure he'll be more motivated to, attend all of the races. So hopefully we see kind of a little bit more of that maturity that he's gone through over the last couple of seasons.
It's a good point there, Frank. You know, in the sense of, and that's the right word to describe it. I think goes towards maturity in the sense that. Yeah, sorry, in the sense that I mean, as you say, he came in absolutely red hot. I remember his first race being in Monaco. I was broadcasting it, and he was absolutely flying. And then sudden incident kind of ended his race abruptly, but he right away left his mark with that race. And then race after race, he'd be easily top 3 in qualifying. He'd be putting himself in great positions during the race. But soon enough, it became the reputation, as you mentioned, of being constant in his motivation, and constant in his results, because he's either top 3 or seemingly out of the points, out of top 10 altogether. So it's a constant that he has to get, and I think this is the season for him to do so. Being the team principal, that's what's expected of him.
Yeah, and like I know he already has plans with somebody to kind of engineer and work with him for this season. So maybe that's something he's been missing in the past. And so I definitely think that'll help kind of. I mean, just having an engineer just definitely makes the experience much better as you're racing. Because it just makes you, it's just more fun in general. Just having someone talking to you, because you just feel cool. You just feel like a real driver. Even if the engineer stinks.
Well, that's the thing. The engineer could stink or not stink. He still provides valuable information at crucial moments. You know, when you're battling with someone and you don't know if you need to dump all your battery or not, you know, a 5% difference is so hard to get when you don't have all the proper information for battery consumption. Well, you know, that at the end of the race, that could be the difference between being able to have enough juice to make the overtake or just not being able to make it happen, you know? So
yeah. One thing also is kind of like, if you're pretty close with your engineer and they kind of understand how you work, like there are times where, something will happen in a race or in qualifying or in a sprint, and you'll get frustrated and you think, oh, it's all doomed and everywhere. But if you have an engineer, man, sometimes they'll know the right thing to say to get you back into it, or tell you to chill out or whatnot. Like we have a moment back a few seasons back, maybe season 5, season 6, We were in our finale at Coda in Division 1, and it was a battle between Cody and Hudson for the D1 championship. And I recall in the sprint, I was engineering for Hudson, and in the sprint, Hudson had a rough race. I think he had some penalties and or track limit penalties, and he just didn't finish where he wanted to, so he was discouraged for the main race. And I remember telling him, like, bro, you've got the pace, you've got the stuff, you're always good at this track. Stick with it. And even though he was frustrated, he stuck with it, went through the race, and won the championship. So
I remember that. I was broadcasting that race specifically, and I was honestly thinking maybe it wasn't going to happen, and then suddenly, yeah, Hudson came out of nowhere that race and was absolutely a beast. And I do remember him talking in his interview about how you said the right things to him and helped him out. So yeah, engineers are very valuable, absolutely valuable, and I think shout out to last season. I was we kind of shared the same engineer, Frank, in Red Bull when we switched seats, and Jeff was probably one of the better engineers I've had, and I've had a few, not a lot. I've had a few, but he was just great. And what am I watching here? I'm watching Simon Costin just cutting across the S's. And okay, well he went right off and cut across the S's. Was he trying to go after Quinnan or something?
maybe having some technical issues there.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but anyways, that all that to say that engineers are valuable, and I think one of our goals in ZRL is try to make sure that every team gets access to at least an engineer, which now having 3 divisions, the demand is... Well, the demand for engineers is higher, but you have 2 extra people on your team to maybe, give engineering roles too, so... It's possible. It's possible to make it happen for sure.
Yeah, and on the topic of Jeff is kind of a one of a kind as an engineer, because he is a professional air traffic controller. So he's got that cool voice that that less seasoned, less practiced people have. So
I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. All right, well, I mean, 3 laps to go. We kind of zoned out on the race here, but there's not a lot of action besides people spinning and people driving backwards on the track for some reason. So team principal Simon Costin was doing things, I guess, for this race. Nonetheless, it's not like he's battling for a position on the grid. He's team principal. He's already got his game plan out for him. Marcel Papp's also another team principal, and he's absolutely dominating everyone. So I think he's just proving he's got nothing to prove. He's just doing it for himself, honestly. However, drivers like Jake Wan, Nathan, really showing their pace. And for Division 2, because I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Wild Pros is slotted for Division 2, or has that changed back to Division 1, Frank?
right now he's back in Division 2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's got great pace, I gotta say.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He is a little bit on a more difficult tire strategy with going really early for the softs.
Yeah.
So he was kind of overtaken by everyone else who pit behind him, but he did gain a little bit. He did gain a couple of positions just by pitting and doing the strategy.
Well, let's see. He didn't really complete his lap. He started P11 and he's up there in P5. Cody Lawrence is, I think his best chances are him finishing P2. So we'll see if Jaquan can hold him off for 3 laps. He's got 1.1 seconds difference between him and Cody. They both pitted on the same lap too, so there's not much of a tire difference except Cody being on the mediums. It's kind of dragging Nathan with him too. Nathan is It's got a little bit fresher tires.
None of them have much battery left, so
Yeah,
this could just wind up being the person who's behind going into turn 1 on the last lap. Jaquan, though, still holding that gap.
Yeah.
Nathan actually closed it so much that I think that Cody had a bit of an issue breaking into those final 2 corners because he's getting overtaken here.
Oh. Sudden move there for Cody, closing off the inside, and there's a contact. I think Nathan maybe pinched him a little bit too much. That's always a really risky corner, the turns 1 and 2 here for overtakes. That kind of thing tends to happen. And a bit of a contact and a spin for Cody, so he's going to be battling to get back maybe to P4. So I don't think he'll be able to get back through him. And,
As you say that, there goes Wild Boros,
just way out.
Bottomed out on that curb.
Yeah, that curb is no touch. And that curb there also in turns 9, right, where Cody just went by. That curb is definitely... Most of the curbs here, actually, we'll just say it like that. But there's some key points here in Suzuka where, well, it's not the place you want to be bottoming out because there's no way you got traction there. And look at this. What is that? I'm wondering if that's just a 1 lap pitting difference from the 2 tires between Jaquan and Nathan, but Nathan's all over Jaquan's gearbox there.
I mean, it also helps that Nathan kind of got catapulted up to Jaquan by clearing Cody so quickly. Yeah. You know, barring any kind of who was at fault for whatever happened. But Nathan's going to overtake him.
Yep. He's going to overtake him for the last lap as we've initiated the last lap. There's a gap between Nathan and Marcel Paps. Obviously, I don't think him and Jaquan will get up to Eruption. There's a 3-second gap in the final lap, so we could easily call it for Marcel Paps there. But however, nothing's played out yet for Nathan and Jordan and the McLaren.
Yeah, you know, you're right. There is kind of a big disadvantage of this track is having only 1 DRS straight. It's a little bit difficult to overtake, you know, have like a very guaranteed overtake, I suppose. Except going into turn 1.
Exactly. And turn 1 is not the kind of corner where you could just... It's not a straight corner where you could just outbrake your opponent. You kind of have to shift into the angle into turn 1 and then find your braking point as you're turning to go into turn 2, which is very easy to overshoot and very easy to make the rear spin and lose control. That's the main overtaking, really.
And we saw like kind of that exact thing, what you're saying. It's just a really hard place to overtake and then race just because the corners are so shallow. And we saw it with Nathan and Cody here.
Yeah.
Just a couple laps back.
Well, Nathan's going to finish this race in 2nd position. Marcel Paps, absolutely dominant. Was very strong in Brazil. Great showing here in Japan. He was way out there. He pulled a Max Verstappen there. Very, very, very... Just doing his own thing. Nathan fought for his positions. Made it happen, made it work. I'm curious to see what will be said between him and Cody. Was it just, you know, oopsie daisy or whatever? But I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what it was. It didn't look like anything ill-intended. So there it is. I mean, Frank, we've gone through our streams there for the pre-season. Our 3 races are done. Tomorrow night, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it is at 8 p.m., right? 8 p.m. Eastern?
8 p.m. Eastern time.
There you go. Because I remember seeing it at 9 and then whatever. But yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern is going to be our draft. And, well, we're going to have some fun. It'll be time to pick our drivers for all 3 divisions. We're also going to have our calendar reveal. So for those who are watching, well, thank you for being on board with us for this preseason draft. I hope the team principals get to luck into these kind of races and help them make their choices. And on that note, Frank, we'll sign off and we'll see each other tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely. All right, well, good night, everybody. Thanks for being here, and meet us back here at our YouTube channel tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everyone.